Dr. Hellman. I am a naturopathic doctor. I have been in practice for quite some time. But currently, I don't practice. Now that I'm an official senior citizen, I come out and talk to people like you about natural medicine. And the name of this company is Natural Medicine Speakers Bureau, as you can see right there. Today, we're going to talk about sleep. And the first thing I want to do is let you know that we're going to look at what is poor sleep. I want you guys to be able to grade yourself. You'll notice on your paper here, it says at the very top there, it says poor sleep, and then what is healthy sleep, and then natural ways to improve. Okay? Now, what I'm really hoping we can do is that we can kind of have a little interaction. Can you guys hear me okay? Or am I not? You want a mic? Oftentimes I can speak loud enough. Is that better? Are we good? Okay, I should have used this even earlier. Okay. As you're looking at your paper there, it says test time. And then it says what is poor sleep, and what is healthy sleep, and then natural ways to improve your sleep. And then on the back side, if you want to turn it over real quick, it also says herbal remedies for sleep. So in other words, I'll just let you guys know a little thing about me. I went and got my senior citizen physical exam at an MD's office. And then when I first walked in there, the lady asked me, she says, "What drugs are you taking?" And I said, "I don't take drugs." But then I had to back up and said, "Yes, I did. I took one drug one time when I was about 27 years old. I cut my thumb really severely, almost cut it off with a table saw. I was a cabinet maker for years and years. And then they gave me a pill which had codeine or something in it. I'll be honest with you, that's been so long ago I can hardly remember. And I didn't like the way it made me feel. And I have never ever taken a drug since then. So what we're talking about here now is herbal remedies. Now, do you guys know that 95% of all pharmaceuticals actually come from herbs? They all start with herbs. And then what they do is they tweak them a little bit, they change the herb somewhat, and then they they say, "Oh, look what we invented. We got something brand new here. It's never been seen before." And then that's when they come along with the side effects, all the things that it'll do for you, and then all the side effects. So anyway, that was just one other thing. Let's get started with this presentation now. There we go. This is Peggy Sue Roberts. We are building a hospital, not hospital, but a large clinic. We primarily work in stage 4 cancer patients. That's what we normally do. I'm giving you this talk today because I talked to Alyssa and she said, no. Our people don't want to hear about cancer, they want to hear about sleep. And I said, I can do sleep. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you look on your test, on in that page towards the top on the left-hand side there, it says, who wants to point that out to me? What is the name of the naturopathic cancer clinic that is going to be built in North Phoenix? It's called the Peggy Sue Roberts. All right? That's a hint. Okay? You're not going to miss that one. Okay, good. Now, unfortunately, I have to put these glasses on to see that thing when I'm reading it. Okay. What is poor sleep? And so now it's on your paper there. You're going to go down that column and you're going to answer yes or no to these questions, okay? Okay, here's what happens. This is poor sleep. If you lay down in bed at night and it takes you more than 30 minutes to fall asleep, that's not a good sign, okay? So what you would write on there is you would circle, you say yes, I have poor sleep. Can you see that on your paper? Okay, so circle the yes if that's a yes, or a no if you go to sleep right away, it's a no. Make sense? All right. Yeah, this is not my wife and myself. This is not us years ago. But I will tell you something about poor sleep. There's a lot of things that cause this delay of sleep. And we're going to talk about some of those remedies just for this particular person. Another thing I would like, if you guys have any questions, put your arm up in the air like this and we'll talk about it, If you need anything answered, we're going to take it from we'll just get on it right away and make sure we get it covered. Does that sound good? All right. Next thing, have you ever seen anybody, have you ever had a meal kind of late at night before you go to bed and you get heartburn? Have you ever done that? Okay, that's a fairly common problem. I mean, there are some people. So if you've had that, you circle the yes. And if it's never happened to you, then you put no. Or if it's not a problem now, maybe you've already got it figured out. Okay? Now, overly anxious. This is very interesting. You know, especially in the working world, you messed up something at the job and you're all worried about that, or somebody died in your family and you're very concerned about the kids or something, just something that just won't let you go to sleep. Your mind starts moving through a lot of different things. I'm going to teach you ways of being able to take care of that too. All right, where it says a tummy ache, heartburn, what can I take to help me sleep? And so that's, if you want to know that answer, put yes, or, you know, hey, that's never happened to me. I've never had heartburn when I went to sleep, so then just put no. Make sense? All right. Now, overly anxious. And that one says, my brain will not turn off. I'm anxious. I'm tossing and turning in bed. I just can't get to sleep. Has anybody ever had that problem? Oh, yeah. Every night? There are people who do have it every night. I mean, but it is something that I'm going to teach you.
You're saying if you have ever had it, you want us to circle yes?
Yeah, if it's something that, you know, comes up once in a while, even currently. But, you know, if this is something that, yeah, I had that 20 years ago and I don't have that problem anymore, I put a no. But if it's something that you're seeing all the time and you're still, you know, having it, then we'll talk about it. I'm going to show you guys ways and teach you ways to get around that, okay? Betty, if you want, there's plenty of seats over here, too. I know you're kind of far back there. All right. It's just too hot in here. Well, you guys kind of have that one made in shade. Yeah, but there's things about being hot in here, which we'll talk about that a little bit more. But you'll see my friend over there, he figured a way out how to make it where it's not so hot in here. Go climb into the freezer. All right, now blue light and vitamin D. What has that got to do with anything? Yeah, I like to hear what this says here, I like hearing the 10 o'clock news. Okay. So it makes me tired and I can't get to sleep. Why is that? Do you guys ever have that problem where you go to bed and you've had a computer or you've looked at your cell phone for a while, you're reading a book on your phone, and you just, when you put it down, your eyeballs are wide open and you just can't get to sleep? Have you ever had that experience? Still thinking about the book, right. But I'm going to teach you and explain to you why. Why does that happen? And then I'm going to tell you how you can get around that, okay? So, next thing we're going to talk about, that's the brain, the way it works. Now, you fall asleep. This is the way it's supposed to work. You're supposed to fall asleep between 10 and 20 minutes after you climb into bed. Okay, we got one answer there. Do you have a paper, Penny? Start filling it out. I need you to fill that out. There you go. That would be yes, I can't go to sleep in 10 minutes. All right. And now, if you get up, if you normally get between 7 and 9 hours sleep a night, that's good. If you put a yes on that one, you get a home run. Okay, so the proper amount of sleep is between 7 and 9 hours per night. Does that sound about right? You guys all do that? Okay. Good. And you know, in my lifestyle, I tend to, sometimes I will go outside and I'll work really hard. I exercise every morning, and then I come home and do some yard work or something like that, and I run out of gas. I'll take a nap for about an hour, and then I'm back up again, and we're good to go. So I usually will get, if I only normally sleep, barely 7 hours a night. And then when I do that extra hour, I'm in the 8, and so we're good. All right? Now, do you wake up refreshed each morning? So you get up, the sun comes up, you open your eyes, and you're going, yes, another day. We're good to go. We're excited. Does that happen for everybody? Not everybody. Okay, if it does, if you wake up refreshed, put yes. And if you don't wake up refreshed, put no. All right. In the morning, you're awake and your energy tank is full. That is what it is supposed to be like. When you get up, you're smiling. You're saying, hey, thank you, Lord. This is another good day. We're rolling. That would be a yes. If you're like going, oh my goodness, I can't believe I am awake. That would be a no. Okay? All right, now let's get on to the fun stuff. We've laid the groundwork. We know what good is. We know what bad is. First thing, do you live inside, voila, most of the day? Yes. Now we do. How often do you get to go out and walk around? Not enough. Okay, so put down on that one there, say, do you live inside most of the day? What I would like you to do, this is now natural ways to improve your sleep, to take a walk in the morning. Is that possible? When you first get up, now it's coming into winter here pretty soon. I mean, I saw on the news just yesterday that it's supposed to be only, in the morning, it's going to be in the 70s. Huh? Hey! We're all going to have to start wearing sweaters again. I know. It's going to get tough. So what I'd like to see if you guys are able to take a walk in the morning. Now let me explain what happens in the morning. There is a thing inside of each one of you that was gifted by God. It's called a circadian rhythm. Have you heard of that term, circadian rhythm, before? No? Okay, well, we'll talk about that later. Okay, a circadian rhythm basically is when the sun comes up, you're awake. When the sun goes down, your body starts making hormones that makes you sleepy. And so that when you go to bed at night, you hit your pillow, your head hits the pillow, 10 to 20 minutes, you're asleep. That's the way it's supposed to work. All right? Now, this is what I'd like to see you guys do. Walk outside in the sunshine, 10, 15 minutes, and that's what it would primarily take. What that does is it produces chemicals and hormones in your body when you see the sun. When the sun hits your face, it's amazing what it does chemically inside of you. That's all part of this thing called circadian rhythms. Now actually I have an exchange student that lives with me, and my wife just came in. Hi Patricia. Our student is from Cambodia. And she took an 18-hour flight from Hong Kong, China to LA. She is in the air for 18 hours. Now I told her on the phone before she left, I said, make sure you carry a little bit of melatonin. Have you guys heard of melatonin? You know what that is? Melatonin is that hormone. The brain sends a signal to the abdominal area. And then it makes this substance called melatonin. And as we get older, we don't seem to make as much as we used to when we were young. So I take a little 5 milligrams of melatonin every night. It basically offsets what I've outgrown, and I sleep like a baby. Makes a huge difference. So what that does is with our people in the morning, it shuts down that melatonin process, and your adrenal glands and your thyroid come into play, and they start building on everything. And this is where you get more energy. All right. When should you go to bed?
When you're tired.
When you're tired? That's good. Okay. Well, the best thing to do is go to bed each night at the same time. Does that sound possible? Do all of you guys do that? Do you deliberately say, so what time do you go to bed each night?
7:50.
7:50?
I get up at 4:30. I go to bed at 7:30.
7:30 and get up at 4:30.
In order to do that walk.
Yes, you're going to be right up there ready for it, but you're at 4:30, it's still a bit dark still. Yeah. But it's okay. It gives you time to kind of warm up, stretch a little bit, right?
Yes, but I don't feel that refreshed because I have to get up so early.
Okay.
To get that walking.
But you do.
I think that's when it cools down.
Do you stretch in the morning?
No, but I stretch after.
Okay. Okay. Stretching early usually is a better way to go. Stretching afterwards is kind of counterproductive.
I understand.
Make sense? Okay. Did I hear another question over here somewhere? Does that make sense so far? Each night, so when you go to bed at the same time. What that does is makes all those hormones and everything in your body do their job along with this circadian rhythm process. All right. Now, what chemicals will keep you up? Caffeine. There you go. Good. So, at what time of the day should you not take any more caffeine? Do not take caffeine at what time?
2 p.m.
After 2 p.m. That's right. Did you write that down? That was good. Yeah. You'll remember it if you write it down. That's good. No, that's so important. My wife and I sometimes we're over at Paradise Valley Mall, and there is a Dutch Boys there. It's a coffee shop, and we'll be there at 4 or 5, whenever we're in that area. And there's a line of cars all over the place. They're all getting their night coffee. And I'm thinking to myself, something's wrong in this picture. They're not going to be able to sleep. And then Patricia keeps saying, well, maybe they're here because they work at night. That's a possibility. So, the chemical caffeine is what keeps you awake. And you'll find caffeine in things like tea, soda pop, and if it's drank in the afternoon, it will in fact not be a good idea or it's not beneficial for sleep. Okay?
How about decaf?
Decaf coffee even has some caffeine. At that, if you're going to take decaf, make sure you drink it at least 2 hours before you go to bed. 2 hours minimum, decaf. And stay away from things like chocolate. And it's interesting. I've told my wife years ago, I said, Patricia, soda pop is nothing but chemical waste that they have found a way to make a profit out of. And you know what they had in the news the other day? They're saying the chemicals in soda pop are so ridiculous, it's killing our kids as they're growing up. We have not had a soda pop of any sort for such a long period of time. It's not a good thing to be drinking soda pop at all. Period. It needs to go out the door altogether, especially if you want to sleep. There's a lot of chemicals in soda pop. So keep that one in mind. Well, now the next thing, though, just say no to the nightcap. Anybody here drink a beer or a little bit of vodka or anything before you go to sleep? We don't do that in this group. Okay. There are people that do, huh? It's what?
We've learned.
You've learned, yeah.
Used to.
Used to. So the thing about alcohol, when it does enter your body, it does make you relaxed. Only problem is that it starts to kill certain neurons and things like that in your brain, which makes you excited. And so about 2 o'clock in the morning, most people will wake up. Maybe 3 if they went to bed because they had their little nightcap. They went and had a little martini or whatever. Now I do remember one time when Patricia and I were first married, we thought, well, why not? Let's have a little bit of celebration here. We'd only been married a couple months. I think we're celebrating our 1-month anniversary. And so we had a bottle of wine and had a good time. Sure enough, we went to sleep early and we both woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning and we walked around the park. Couldn't go back to sleep to save my life, but that was quite a while ago. All right, so put down that one there. Which chemical will keep you up is caffeine, and then what is wrong with alcohol? It has it will actually fracture your circadian rhythms. But now the last one on this first page, why are all the, We'll go with the alcohol. We'll stop with that. The alcohol will mess up your circadian rhythms. It'll fracture them, and it'll change things around where it feels like you went through a time zone.
So how long before bed should you not drink any wine?
Any wine, I would keep it a minimum of 3 to 4 hours away from bedtime, because that will give the second half, because it'll make you a little bit lightheaded first, and you'll feel just tired, and then you'll wake up in about 2.5 to 3 hours later. That's kind of a norm. Okay? All right. And last but not least, blue skies smiling on me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. All right. Well, what is about blue skies? Remember our morning walk? When you wake up, you look up at the sky, the shade of the sky is blue. Guess what the computer people have figured out? They figured out that if they make the backgrounds of the screens that same color, it will make you stay awake. If you watch TV at night and you say, hey, I want to go to bed after the 10 o'clock news, the screen itself affects your eyeballs, and it actually produces vitamin D. That vitamin D will give you energy, and it will not allow you to sleep. So, I'm going to make that picture there a little bit bigger. Here we go. Here we have an explanation of that, because this really is important. Actually, the other day I went over to CVS, the drug place, and I needed some tape. Well, anyway, I went up to the counter and I gave her the gal my money, and she said, what are you going to do with this? And I said, oh, I'm talking to a group of people tomorrow about sleep. And she goes, oh man, I have issues with sleep. I can't get to sleep. And I say, well, where's your cell phone when you go to bed? She goes, oh, my cell phone, I keep it right next to me, man. If it goes off, I got to be able to talk to whoever that is, because it's important. And I let her know. I said, wait a minute. These are the things that actually happen when that blue light constantly penetrates your eyes. Let's start with this right here. These are the negative effects, way this blue light affects you, okay? The source of blue light includes TVs, computers, laptops, smartphones, and tablets. The electronic device and fluorescent and LED lighting. Now, I remember when I was in my 20s, I was working with a guy, and he said, what you really need for this office is full spectrum fluorescent light. And they started using this full spectrum light in a lot of different stores. And it's the same color as the sky. The LED lights have got the same issue. They're all that blue shade of light. They're called full spectrum. And yes, if you go into a store where you want to buy a new dress, or you want to try on a new shirt or something, they want that full spectrum so that you will get a good visual of what it's like when you're actually outside. But that blue light is doing other things to you because it's not real. It is synthetic. It's kind of like drugs. Drugs are synthetic. They take a real herb and they make it into something new. The fluorescent lights, the LED lights, do the same thing. So, as an example, blue light from smartphones and televisions kills your retina cells. This part of your eyes, it actually kills part of your eyes. And it's kind of like, almost like staring at the sun, is when you have that same light at all the time. And also, brain stops producing melatonin hormones that gives the body time for the sleep commands. So that blue light stops the melatonin production. So this, I like to listen to books on tape. But when I saw this thing that I could actually read the book on a tablet, then people just don't, you can't go to sleep with all that vitamin D, everything hitting your eyes is stopping the melatonin from doing its job, and it's starting this circadian rhythm to fracture. Once that happens, it's going to mess up your sleep every single night. And then over here it says the blue light is extremely damaging to kids as for children playing with the computers and things at night. And then over here it says lack of sleep can lead to memory loss and brain dysfunction. Anybody have any memory loss in here? What? I can't forget if I have memory loss. The one that I'm really the most concerned about though, the exposure to blue light may contribute to cancer. If that doesn't get your attention, nothing's going to. I'm telling you that that's one of the things that we do here is on a regular basis is I work with cancer patients. I don't want to see any of you down there. I really don't want to see you there. But yes, exactly. Smartphones and computers, LED lights, and fluorescent lights that have full spectrum light. Any questions about any of this so far? Is this new to anybody? Is this something you all know for a fact already and you're not going to worry about it?
I'd be interested in knowing about vitamin D. You said it was not a good thing to have late in the day.
Got it.
I'm a big believer in vitamin D3. Should I take it in the morning and at noon and not at night?
D3 is different. Vitamin D goes from D1 to D7. D3 is the one that actually gives you that is the one that works throughout your body. It helps your bones grow. It helps heal your skin. It does all kinds of wonderful things.
Okay, not to worry about D3.
No, I take D3. If I need a lift, yeah, I take D3. Because I'm in an office most of the time, you know what I mean? I do get up early in the morning, I walk over to the gym, I go inside a gym, you know, where it's, fake lights again, but I do get some time out on the street. And then as often as I can, I get outside and I work on my garden and things like that. So I try to get as much sunshine as possible, but I've got a drawback here, and most of you girls don't have this problem, but I've got a solar collector right here. And when that solar collector gets too much vitamin D and everything else, I overheat and I get a fever blister. Have you ever heard of that before?
No.
That's what happens. That's one of the reasons people get fever blisters. Is that because of too much sunlight on your skin. If you get a sunburn, oftentimes you'll get a fever blister to go with it. So I'm saying, if you're going to go walking, morning is the best time. Did you have a question back there? Yes?
How about the ordinary lighting in our homes?
All depends. We remodeled our house and we put in LEDs before I really understood this. They're in the kitchen. So where are we, in the kitchen is when we want it. We're actually getting energy. We don't have them in certain areas like where we watch TV. We've got the blue light going. But we have learned that it is important to turn that off sooner. And I had one guy say, well, wait a minute, I like to watch the 10 o'clock news. But to go back to your thing, in the house, yes, certain rooms will have LED lights. Certain rooms won't. Okay, but if you want to watch the news at 10 o'clock because that's your bedtime, move it back a half hour. Watch the 9 o'clock news. And then turn the TV off at 9 so you have that hour a lot of this stuff will kind of leave your body as that hour goes by. Because a lot of the vitamins and things like that, that's the nice thing about vitamins, is that if the body doesn't need them, it'll shed them. They'll go away quick. But if the body does need them, it'll absorb it, it'll put it to work right away. Make sense? Good. That was a very important slide, and I hope you guys keep that in mind. All right, how often should you exercise? Now we're talking about taking the next step here. Walking each morning is important, no problem. That is what I'd like to see everybody do. Get some exercise every morning. That would be at least 4 times a week. Can you do that?
Get a dog.
Huh?
Get a dog.
Get a dog. Take the dog for a walk every day. Do it in the morning. Or what? Or hire Patty. Yeah, she'll watch your dog for you and take it out for a walk. Okay. Get aerobic exercise. What that means is you need to breathe in deep air. You've got to build those lungs up. And the more you build your lungs up, the longer things are going to go, and the easier it is to sleep at night. I would. Any of you ever snore? I've actually figured a way of beating that. I've found a way that I can have a person no longer snore. And it's not necessarily using a CPAP. Although I say that. Well, it's kind of involved, but it doesn't take any drugs. And it takes a little bit of time to train your body, but that's something I'll be doing when I open up our clinic for the cancer clinic. I'm going to be doing a lot of the side things that people come in and just teaching them about how to live without drugs. Because unfortunately, most of the time, the patients that we get in our cancer clinic are stage 4. They've already been told by the MDs, I'm sorry, we've given you all the chemotherapy that you can handle, we've surgery, all we can possibly do, and you've had radiation. Now you have to go home and die. And so they end up at our clinic and they don't die. There's a lot of things that we do that are not Food and Drug Administration approved. Because there's science that has been going on right now that are studies from around the world that there have been cures for cancer all over the place. And we only know 3 things in this country. We do surgery, we do chemotherapy, and we do radiation. So it's just one of those things. And but anyway, onward and upward. Oh, here we go. Start smoking. You'll never be the same. I'll tell you my story about smoking. When I was in boot camp, I was 19 years old. I was on my way to Vietnam, and I was a Navy Seabee. Anybody here ever heard of the Seabees?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
They used to wake us up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I was with the Navy Seabees, and when I was in boot camp, they'd given us a couple packages of cigarettes. And so I thought, okay, I've never really done this before, but I'll give it a try. Machismo. You know what machismo means? That's Mexican for I'm tougher than you are. So anyway, I had smoked my cigarette and I was sick as a dog for a while. And then all of a sudden I couldn't sleep with darn either. And I'm thinking, okay, it's got to do with the fact that we're going to bed at 8 o'clock at night and we're getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning and marching around and doing crazy stuff. And so over time, my sleep habits just got worse and worse. And then what happened is we'd have to go work on something. And the chief petty officer would get up there and it says, okay, you guys, you've worked long enough right now. And so light them up if you got them. That's what he would say. Light them up if you got them. And you know what that means? If you don't smoke a cigarette, you're going back to work. So guess what we'd all do? Well, anyway, as we got towards the end of boot camp and I was headed off to my technical school, I ran out of cigarettes. And so I went to one guy and he goes, no, I'm about out too. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This cigarette thing is really stupid. Because if I were to go buy a package of those things and light it, that's like taking a $1 bill and just burning it. Or more than that, and so this is back in the 70s, so they're a little bit less expensive. And I get to thinking, why? I don't even want to do that anymore. And then it dawned on me that the cigarettes were part of the reason I was having a hard time going to sleep. There is a substance in cigarettes called nicotine that is a very strong stimulant. I didn't know any of that back at the time. And then finally it dawned on me that said, no wonder, because when I quit smoking, I was able to actually start sleeping again and going to bed at the right time and getting up at a regular basis. Make sense?
So we don't want to start smoking to help our sleep.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sleep will never be the same.
It'll never be the same. I mean, I'm promising you, it's not going to be good. So, all right. Hey, there is a blues band called the Circadian Rhythms. And they will rock your night's sleep starting with jet lag and things like that. So you just dance all night long and you'll never go to sleep again. So circadian rhythms. Now I started off with a story talking to you about our exchange student. Now she's traveled, like I said, it was 18 hours and she crossed 14 time zones to get to Arizona. That's a lot of time zones. And right now, if it's about 2 o'clock right now, I think, and in Cambodia, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's 2 o'clock at night plus 2 hours, 3, 4. So right now in Cambodia, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And so she left there and got to us, and her parents or somebody, I don't know who told her this, they said, "No, don't go to sleep. You gotta stay awake." Well, she was so, wow, I'm leaving Cambodia for the first time, and I'm flying all the way to America, and I've had all these dreams, and she was just all wired up, and she didn't sleep for a long time. And then when she got to us, she was running on adrenaline. Yeah, oh, exciting. And then all of a sudden, it hit like a wall. Boom, she walked into it. And all of a sudden, she's thinking, you know what? I am tired now. I am really tired. And it took several days for her to get into this circadian rhythm. The secret to that is, if you're going to travel across time zones, especially in an airplane, take a little melatonin with you. As soon as that wheels come off the ground, take a melatonin, you'll sleep for about 4 to 6 hours. And in her case, if she would have just done that, it would have helped so dramatically. But there we go. The other one, shift work. This is very scary. You know, you guys ever had, sometimes people who work at factories and they have to work through the night and they never get to see sunshine. They are very unhealthy people. This is the scariest part, though. You get doctors and nurses and technicians and things like that working through the night, and they're not sleeping properly. They're always awake. They try to go to sleep in the daytime when their body is saying, now it's time to get up. That's a very scary thing. All right, bedroom is your sanctuary. What are the two primary purposes for a bedroom? Who wants to get, huh?
Sleep.
And?
Nothing else.
Nothing else. Oh, no, we're here. Yeah, she's got it right. Bedrooms are, this one here, I picked this picture because it was laid out using, what is that Chinese thing? What do they call it? Huh? Feng Shui, right. Right. Have you ever heard of Feng Shui? Okay, they always have light coming in. We're standing on the side where the light's shining in on the bed. This should have morning light always flow into your bedroom. So, what's the best way to clear your mind? This is so important. When I go to sleep at night, first thing I do is have you guys ever heard of the Lord's Prayer? Everybody knows the Lord's Prayer, right? Yeah. And if you're sitting there tossing and turning, start with the Lord's Prayer. Yeah.
How about sex?
Well, that works. Yeah. All right, that's a good thing. No, then if you were not good at that, read some poetry. Don't read it on a tablet. Read it on paper. If you read through this, and then, if you can, read a relaxing book or read something that really makes your mind start to think. Now, I memorized it's called the Nicene Creed. Ever heard of that? Nicene Creed? Yeah. So when I memorized that, it worked out so effectively. I memorized it word for word, and then I went back through and meditated on each part. And then I would say, wait a minute, I don't like this part that says one universal Catholic Church. I was raised Catholic, but then I became a Protestant, I got saved. And so then I said, well, let's change that to a universal, because that's what the word Catholic means, is universal. So anyway, I actually went through the whole thing several times, and every night, I very seldom get past like the first paragraph, because it's actually 3 paragraphs long. I very seldom get past the first paragraph, and by that time, I'm asleep. And if I wake up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom and all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to happen to me tomorrow. I gotta go give a talk on sleep. Oh no. And then all of a sudden I start thinking about that again and my mind just starts to relax and it goes to sleep. Make sense? All right. I like that picture though. That was a really cool picture. Herbal remedies. I really would, you guys ought to write these down. I'm telling you, this is going to be important because there will be a test on this one. All right. First one up there, GABA. Have you ever heard of GABA? Now, there are some drugs you've heard of that has GABA in it. Have you ever heard of gabapentin? Okay, good. That's a bad drug. It's a benzodiazepine, and it's one that has a lot of horrible side effects. Again, it took it for something very natural. GABA by itself is very powerful, but then they changed it a lot. And there's like 10 different variations on this particular herb. A key player in sleep. It'll make you calm down, relax. All right, another one, theanine. Theanine comes from green tea. I've done some interesting experiments with green tea. I grow my own tea. And I have found out ways that I can use it as a laxative. It'll clean you out really fast. I use it to I'll sometimes just put it in my hands and smell it. It's just the aroma, because it's a lemon green tea that you can grow here in the valley. It's very easy to grow it. All right. It lowers your anxiety. It promotes weight loss. That was, I thought, a very important thing. Then this is a part of the tea. It's called theanine. Okay? Another thing, valerian root. Now, you've heard of some of the things that they made from valerian root. Have you ever heard of any of them? Huh? Valium. Have you ever heard of Valium? That comes from valerian root. And there's a lot of other drugs that they made from that root, that plant. What this is good for, it's stress, sleep. And if you're in a bad mood, even in the daytime, you take valerian root, calm you right down. Make you get out of a bad mood. Pretty neat. And then hops. Who knows where hops are real popular? There you go. Got it. Yeah. Depression, anxiety, stress is reduced. Now, you got to remember, hops have gone through the process where they become alcohol. They have fermented the hops. So, if you're, again, all they're doing is changing it in its original form, hops as a plant is very valuable, very popular. But most people don't know about that.
It doesn't work in beer for sleep.
Not this part. Yeah, it'll actually help you relax, but that's the alcohol part, the ETOH. All right, now I bet you nobody has heard of jujube fruit.
And candy.
Huh? You have heard of it in candy. Okay, good. Now, by the way, too, everything on this list, this can be found in off Amazon. You can buy all of this stuff. Some of it's a little more expensive than others, but it's very valuable. And what I recommend, though, is that you have a naturopathic doctor work with you on exactly what would help you sleep. And they'll work with you and ask you your different symptoms and things like that. And then try some herbs that will work. Okay? And finally, this is my favorite right here. It's called Catechol. And I wanted to show you that because there are all kinds of variations of these herbs and things like that. Now this one here, this Catechol, this is all the things that are in it. There's vitamin C, theanine, which is actually B1, riboflavin, B2, B6, B12, calcium, magnesium, taurine, L-theanine, there we go, it's in there, lemon balm, passion flower, valerian, ashwagandha, and phosphatidylserine. There's a lot of herbs and vitamins in that particular product. That comes from a company called Designs for Health, and you'll have to get it through a naturopathic doctor. So this is what I'm trying to let you guys know. These are some of the basics this is when you combine them, you have all kinds of amazing things. Like there have been times when I would wake up because something had happened. There was, I hurt myself or whatever, and then I would take this Catacola Calm. It would calm me right down, and I'd go to sleep. Make sense? I really recommend, though, that anytime you guys do anything like that, you first get in touch with a naturopathic doctor. Let them walk through this with you. Okay? All right. Well, we're getting close to the end now. Again, this is the name of the company. It's Natural Medicine Speakers. And this is our gift to you, but now you're responsible for it. So I want you guys to take this home. You've got your test. Look it over. Remember your notes. If you have any questions, my business card's up here. There's things that you can, you should give me a call. But what I will do is probably refer you to one of my friends. And once our clinic is up and running, I'll actually have you come on down to the clinic. This is a website. It's called Inspiring Survivor Stories. A long word, but it's on my card, so you don't have to write it down if you don't want to, but it's on my card. And that is a website where you can go find out some of the things that we've done and some of the different people. They'll have interviews on there. And if you know someone who has cancer, have them call this number. Now, if you look on my card, it's on the back side. Front side is where my picture is. Okay, the back side is where if you know somebody with cancer, this is a number they can call, and we will get them some a fix for that particular situation. And this is my personal cell phone. All right. If you want to, go to naturalmedicinespeakers.com, fill out an information request, and again, you'll be ultimately speaking with people here. Or there it is, naturalmedicinespeakers.com. Make sense? Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate you being here. And if you have another topic you'd like me to speak on, give me a month or so to put it all together, and I'll be back. Well, God bless you. If there's anything else you need,